Which place is better between these two? United States of America or Africa? That is the question I've been asked many times. So for you, you have lived in both places, but where do you prefer more? And even some of the groups is not just specifically question directed to me, but there is usually a debate or sometimes like unnecessary conflict between the people who live outside the country, especially US and Europe, versus people who live in other countries from their former countries like Africa, for instance, or Asia sometimes. So, does living, if you want to live in America, makes you a better person? Living in Europe makes you a better person compared to someone who is still in Africa? That is a discussion for today. And I will speak based on my personal experiences and the challenges on both areas. And then we can decide, and you can share with your experience too. Do you think? Does someone live in Africa has better shot of succeeding, happiness, whatever thing they want, versus someone is already moved to go into another country? So things of that nature. So welcome. This is Ernest Boniface Makulilo, EBM Scholars here, and I welcome you to the channel. Before we start, we ask you one thing only: subscribing to the EBM Scholars. Click here on this, at the end here there is be a button, whatever it's called, the subscribe in red. That button, if you click, will take you to the subscribe button, and then you can subscribe and ring the bell that you can receive notification from the channel. So, okay, it is the dream of many people at one point whether to travel, whether to live or to visit in other countries. Some people, they have that interest. Majority of people, especially, I remember on my generation, my time, when we were growing up, was going to America, going to Europe, going to other countries was a big deal. But now it's a little bit different. So, is it really a big deal or not a big deal at the current situation? So, number one, I want to start with, what do you want to achieve on this planet Earth? What are your goals? What are your dreams? What do you want to do in your life? That's number one, the key question. If you have that question to yourself and you have the answers like, okay, I want to achieve 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to achieve these 5 items. How can I achieve them? And where can I achieve them? Where would it be possible, easier, whatever it is, I can be able to achieve? So if I want, for instance, to have PhD, I'll have 1, 2, 3. Okay, that is my goal. Where should I get a PhD and how can I get a PhD? If my goal is, for instance, to buy a house, to have family, to have whatever, where should I do these kind of things? So that is number one. If you have asked that question yourself, you can be able to guide yourself to see where you can be able to do, or where can you be able to live, or where do you want to go to study, or where do you want to visit, things of that nature. In my personal experience, each person has different experience and each person has different reasons. In Africa, there are so many good things. Even when you go to Asia, there are so many good things. If you go to South America, I've never been to South America, I've been to Asia, some countries in Asia. There are so many good things. But there are so many challenges. If you come to America, if you go to Europe, there are so many good things. There are so many challenges. So it's up to you, first of all. Where do you see your dreams will be easier to be able to succeed them? That is the path you are going to take. I know many people who have money, who have means, but they don't want to live in Europe. They don't want to live in America. They prefer and they want to live in Africa. They prefer and they want to live in their own countries in Asia. They prefer and they want to live in their countries in South America. Nothing wrong at all. So this, I want, is a message for us who live in abroad. Sometimes you have a notion that because we are here in America, because we are in Europe, we think that we are better than anybody else. No, we are not. Let's not get in our head that because I'm in America that, oh, I've succeeded, I managed. No. You came here because you wanted something and you thought like coming here you'll be able to succeed. Good for you. But someone else feels that by staying in Tanzania, by staying in Uganda, by staying in Ghana, by staying in Sierra Leone, by staying in South Africa, Zimbabwe, Botswana, Egypt, by staying in their countries, they can do better for their country, they can do better for their family, they can achieve the dreams they have been wanting since they are kids. So each person has different dreams. My dream was to come to America. That's why in the book, my memoir, I wrote about coming to America. That was like since I was in 5th grade, primary school. I wanted really bad to come here. And I worked every single way until I came here. So that was my personal dream. Not my brothers, not my sisters. They studied in Europe, but they don't want to live there. So each person has different dream, has different plans. Doesn't mean that they don't have the means to live there. Oh, they can do that. So that is number one. Secondly, yes, in Africa sometimes you might not have bigger salary, enough money, whatever. But also expenses are different from Western countries. Here you can get 5,000, but the 5,000 you are given on Friday, within 5 days, 5,000 is gone. You live on the mortgage. But in Africa, someone can live, or in Asia, someone can live in their own house. Buying organic food is very expensive. You cannot afford it sometimes. Buying organic food is very, very cheap in Africa or in Asia. Family, you can be able to get support from your relatives. Here is very difficult. You have to do things of that nature. So there are so many ways. Each part has different. Someone prefer, like, if I come here, I'll get good education. I can get this one. So each person has different reason why prefers one place over the other. So my overall point is not supposed to be like a beef or some sort of conflict between the two parts. Sometimes people, we move to another country. You can be in a conversation, maybe in your support group or with your friends. They assume you are not too patriotic in your own country. Because if you are so patriotic, why did you leave the country? So they put you in your, just like a guilt mode, like attacking you, like it's, why did you, like you just like run away from your responsibility, look like that way. So it's just like a war, like if you move, some people, if you can have a point like, okay, first of all, you do not know, you are not Tanzanian, you are not Kenyan anymore. And why did you leave? Like, is they just like a blame? And someone already here, they say, oh, don't give me a point. I mean, after all, you are not successful because you are not, like, it's just there is unnecessary tension. You are not better than any person because you live in America. You are not better because you live in Paris. You are not better because you live in Nairobi. You are not better because you live in Accra, Ghana. You are not better because you live in New York. No. Where you live doesn't define you that you are better than another person. The place you live can be because of some circumstances, or sometimes your goals and your opportunities and your preparation can prepare you to go somewhere else. But it doesn't make you that, okay, because now I lived in California, I lived wherever, I live now in Missouri, okay, anybody from Africa is, no. There are so many people have so much money. There are so many people, I finished my classmates in primary school, secondary school, university. They have better life than me because that's their plan. I'm not competing with them. They have their own plan. Their plan was to have maybe farms. I know some people, they have even 200 acres planting trees for business. friend of mine is having over 500 acres. My classmate. So, I'm not competing like now in America I have to get 500 acres of trees. No. There are some people who have bigger homes. That each person has different goals in life. It's not a marathon. I mean, it's not like a sprint. Each person like you have to. No. Stay on your lane. If your lane is your plan was to go to Europe, go to Europe. Do your thing. And don't assume everybody who stayed back, didn't succeed. No. Even if the person still wants to come to America, doesn't mean that because you are here, you have to not respect those people. No. If you are here and someone wants to come here, it's your responsibility to show the way. This is the life. What makes you better is how you can help another person also to be better. But if you cannot help another person, forget about yourself. You are not a better person. A better person is the one who is making the world a better place. Simple like that. That's what I believe and that's what I stand for. How you can help others to be better. Even better than you. That is success. So, don't take where you live as a sign of your success, a sign of disrespecting other people, a sign of not trying to connect with other people. And I remember, it used to be like sometimes some people, we already overseas, and we don't want to hear even a text message from other people because, they'll beg for money. No! Not all the time someone from Africa or from Asia is texting you or sending you a WhatsApp message wants to get money from you. This world has changed so much. Those were stories of 20 years ago. If someone wants something, they want information, they want connection. That's all. No one, people don't ask you for money. Ernest, can you tell me about this scholarship? They want to apply. They can ask me, how did you go to America? How did you get that scholarship? I share my story. I share the ways on how you can succeed. That's how one of the ways you can be able to be a better person, by helping others, sharing your story, sharing how you can be able to succeed. Someone can go through your path. Someone can avoid the mistakes you did. That is how you can be able to do that. And this is not about competing with the people who are in Europe versus people who are in Africa, people who are in America versus people who are in Asia. No, it's not about that. It's bigger than that. For me, I live in America, but I'm still African. I think, I behave, I work as African. You cannot take my Africanness from my body because I live in America, I have the American passport. No. The DNA is free from there. The way you are thinking, the way you behave, the way whatever is still there. So don't disconnect you from your people. Just someone comes to you, share the information. Don't brag too much about, okay, I'm better now, I'm living in America, I live in New York, I live in whatever. No, that is nonsense. Doesn't help anybody. And doesn't make you a better person. So, that's why if I read my book, From Shito to Trumpland, that book, my memoir, is explaining that I took the quotation from Pope Francis when he was talking about the family, that there is no perfect family, there is no perfect marriage, there is no perfect wife, there is no perfect husband. We all have a lot of disappointments, but we need forgiveness and learning from one another, and trusting, and all these challenges. The same way, there is no perfect country. If you go to the street of New York, yes, you can see rats. There are rats in the subway. Very dirty, shabby place. If you go to certain places in Africa, yes, there are those. And if you go to some places in Africa, there are so many most beautiful places. If you go to Europe, there are so many beautiful places and there are so many dirty places. There are so many great things about Africa. There is the togetherness. There is individualism. So each place, they have good and bad. So we don't need to be here showing every time the bad stuff or the good stuff of one side. No. That's why for me, usually you cannot see on my Facebook posting I'm on the pool, see the view of America. I don't do that. Why? Because sometimes it will be like doing the same thing. Like when I go to Africa, or media is portraying about Africa, is portraying about like negative or just about bad stuff like shabby places, whatever. But why should I take the big pictures of the big hotels here? It doesn't make any sense. So if I want to take a nice hotel, I can take also nice hotels in Africa, and I can take nice hotels here just to make it equal. So those are the things I would like to share with you. And that, so what is your opinion? Do you believe that one place is better than the other? Or do you believe people who are Africa are better than people who are in the US, or people in the US or in Europe are better than people because they moved to that country? What makes you a better person? Is the place you live, or what you do to other human beings, and how you can create a legacy, and how you can create a worldly better place? What is your belief about a better person? What do you believe about successful person? Is someone with so many cars, someone lives in wherever, in Europe, live in America, live in Paris, or someone who has a certain dream, achieve their dreams? I want to have 2 acres of land. I want to have this kind of maize corn, this kind of thing. And you achieve, no matter where you are, that's where you create your happiness. What is your take on that? I'd like to hear that through the comments, and I'll be happy to get your comment first, to be the first person to comment on this one. Okay? Let me end up here because I don't want to talk too much, but I think you got the point, what I was trying to explain. Okay. Before I go, remember to subscribe, share the video, and I will come with more topics to be able to discuss and to share with you. Thank you everyone for your continued support you have been giving me for a long time. I really appreciate that. Okay, goodbye everyone.